Okay, hey, I got something to say. You just got to go with the flow. So, me and Holly were trying to go live, but the internet God said, no, we want you to record it and spread it everywhere. So, we don't have a lot of time, but we're going to get it in. And I promise you, we're going to bring Holly back. So, Holly, we're going to start a little differently because while we were going out, the biggest question I had from everybody coming in is, how did you get into this?
Yeah.
How heart mind alchemy, and then the next question was, what does that mean to you? So let's go for it.
So how I got into it was, as a lot of us do with our own journeys, my own suffering. I was a scientist actually for the Nature Conservancy for 20 years. So I was working in conservation. And I really thought for a long time that would be my career, that'd be what I would do. But I came to a place where I was just, I guess, feeling a lot of despair for the state of the planet, like a little bit like we were talking about on the live, like just, this sort of crap show that is, the earth and everything going on. And this sense and feeling that there would never be enough time, money, or resources to save the planet. Like I couldn't win. And I came to this kind of recognition that it just felt like I was on this hamster wheel, and there was, yes, I was doing good things every day, trying to do my best, do my part, but it just felt like it was never enough. And that sense of never enough just was really weighing on me and wearing me down. And I ultimately quit that work, and just had this sense that there was something else I was supposed to do. And in the middle of that journey of the falling apart and that recognition of never enough, I was also had mold poisoning. So I had a huge health crisis as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so, and all of that, one thing that happened, a critical thing that happened was I felt like I had always paid attention to my physical body, like, eating right and that kind of thing, and exercising, but I had never really paid attention to my mind, to really kind of the narrative show of what's going on in here and how to really work with that. And how do we really start to work with our minds so our minds don't take us over, and we're not a slave to them, and so that sent me down the meditative path of starting to explore meditation. And I was like, it was like falling down the rabbit hole. I thought I was just, doing mindfulness, becoming present in the moment, but actually, but what ended up happening is I took a deep dive into spirituality and this deep understanding and recognition of who I am, who we all are, and what this is about, what's going on here, and how to reclaim myself from the limited small mind to step into this understanding and recognition of each of us as being, infinite source, infinite light consciousness. And having that be not just something I read about in a book, because I'd read lots of spiritual books over my life, but actually how to make it awaken into the lived experience, which is really like so simply just about what everybody wants, which is how to just be happy. How do you find peace and happiness and well-being? And to find that no matter what's going on,
True gift, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a true gift. Yeah.
Okay. I love the fact that you said you went down that rabbit hole and it opened up all this other stuff for you. So here you are discovering this. How did you make that leap that you wanted to do this for other people?
Yeah. Well, I started to feel so much better, and it started to work so well that I, to be honest, like I was a scientist, and that was what had been what I was doing. And I asked Spirit, like, what am I, if I'm not supposed to do this, excuse me, if I'm not supposed to do this, what am I supposed to do? And I just waited for the answer. I waited for months for Spirit to tell me. And one day I was listening to a podcast, and this person that was interviewed was discussing how he was a Hollywood designer, and he he became a coach. And just as the words, he spoke those words, and I just felt like this big do that come into my whole body. And it was like this deep knowing of what I was supposed to do. And so a couple of weeks later, I mean, I literally came back from the run and told my husband, like, I know what I'm supposed to do now.
Was he like, yay?
Yeah, he was like, yay. Yep. And 3 weeks later, I was enrolled in a coaching program. And really, it was all about, for me, like, I just want to help other people find this well-being that I found.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. And I love that, because a lot of us, it is the same way. When you discover something that's so amazing, you were like, I need to tell you about it. I need to tell you about it. Okay. So let's back up to something you were telling me live, which I love that you said it this way, about the world being turned upside down and more people feeling anxious and overwhelmed and depressed than ever. And you said, and I don't want to misquote you, about not waiting for the world to hear. Can we dive more into that just a little bit?
Totally. Yeah, because so this, just to recap, this recognition that I want to be well, no matter what's going on in the outside world,
Yes.
that I am not pinning my well-being on somebody else getting well, but I'm taking responsibility for it. I'm owning my own well-being.
Yeah.
It starts there. Like, we have to own it. And that means that, that there can be lots of chaos in the world. There can be countries falling apart. And yet I'm going to really take this seriously. I'm going to take me seriously and my own well-being. And to me, that then, once you decide that, once you're like, you see that that's possible, that's what all the great sages and wisdom teachings are all about, is like, you have everything Rumi said, everything you want, you already are. Like, it's all here. We don't need to, we stop looking for happiness out there, but we recognize we are the source of happiness. It's an inside job, right? And then that's, and those sound like great words, but then it's like, okay, well, how do you do that? How?
Okay, that sounds great. I got all the books, I went to all the workshops, I listened to the podcast. Now what?
Right. Now what? And where it starts, and where I start with my clients, is to actually look at who you are. Like, who are you? Ramana Maharshi asked that famous question, like, who are you really? And when you feel into that for yourself, what's the knowing of your own being? And I actually, because I'm a scientist, I make a science out of the knowing of your own being. Like, what's happening in this very moment is your experience of being a human. And so as you're like looking at me and I'm looking at you, you just notice, like, okay, light is coming to your eyes, sounds are coming to your ears, sensations are coming to your skin. So all of this is like, we can bundle it, actually. We could say it's all like information coming to something. Well, what's it coming to? It's coming to, like, what is this I? It's your awareness, right? And if you can even just sort of notice, and I close my eyes because I find it somewhat easier.
Yeah.
All this information is coming to awareness. I am aware. Before you know anything else, there is awareness. And then you start to look at the qualities of awareness. Awareness isn't like the things coming to it. It's not an object. It doesn't have a size or a shape or a color. And if I just ask you, Sandy, like, if you feel into awareness, what does it feel like to you? What does this being of you feel like?
When, Holly, it's a great question, because for the past few years, I've been allowed to do more of a deep dive into me, meaning some circumstances happened and it was like a time for me to step back, and I called it, I had to take a beat and then a beat again to just listen and connect. And every time I do that, I just get this pure essence, not forced. It was the word that used to come to me, was pure essence of joy, love, and peace. And that joy, love, and peace is really who we are. And so what I used to do, I'm always pippy skippy, right? I'm upbeat. That's my energy. But a few years ago, when I sold my health clubs, I was looking, what's my next chapter? And I got really injured. I couldn't move. Imagine me not moving for like 6 months. And my mentor said, oh, I'm so happy. This is going to be a great gift for you. And I went to kill him, right? Yeah. But the great gift was, can you find pure joy, love, or peace, your true essence, no matter what? If your book sells, if it doesn't sell, if you had this great conversation, if you help people, if you did a great job on a podcast. And it was months of me soul searching and asking. And when I felt that, I was like, I got to bring anybody on who can show that and teach that. Because to me, I'm not always there. Holly. But when I do connect, there's no decision that could be rocked, because when I'm making a choice, a decision, a call from that peace, love, and joy. I was just explaining to my friends the other day, because we're down the shore with my girlfriends, and they're like, you're still doing it? I go, yeah, I have to have this girl hug on. And they're like, oh God, it's so you. But I was like, there's something in me that no matter what everyone is saying around me, it's so connected, and I can feel when I'm off. There's this thing that happens in my body, and the difference is the word pure. Before, I would force the joy, you know what I mean, and being happy even when I'm not that you don't go onto a podcast miserable, but when it's that way, unbelievable. So let's get back, because I want to make sure, I know we only have a few minutes in.
Can I just take a minute to respond? Because I love your story.
Oh, yeah.
And so very much that was I had a different version of a similar story and this is why, the pain that's happening in the world right now, as difficult as it is actually a moment where we can use that as an opportunity to find this inherent peace and joy that's within us.
Yeah.
That's actually our natural state. That's what we are. That's what the Tibetan, Buddhist sages are saying. They're saying like peace and calm is your natural mind. And so, and this forced insulation that we had with COVID actually was a great opportunity. It was part of my story, was to use that as an opportunity to find that peace and joy within, to really take up meditation and really discover that. But it's actually, you don't have to meditate for hours and hours to find it. You can actually, with some pointings like I do and the work I do with my clients, you can actually find it quite easily.
Yeah, I was looking at your website and I thought that was cool, because I'm all about, for me, I said, it's not even how you do it. There's so many ways to meditate and get connected. Could take a few minutes, could take you an hour. It's the consistency of doing a little bit every day that has big.
I completely agree with you. Yeah.
So they want to know, how'd you come up with heart, mind, and alchemy?
Yeah. Well, when I was, made this change to a coach, and I was doing this work, and I was trying to come up with a name that would represent me. And what I recognized was that the essence of my work is about, the word alchemy, which I just love, is about changing, right? Yeah, it's about transformation, right? And so transforming heart and mind, so that we can step into what it, to me, is our birthright. Our birthright is to be happy. Yeah. Our birthright is not suffering. And so for me, that's a changing that heart and mind orientation to transform, to be well, to flourish, to thrive.
Holly, I'm so glad you're doing this in the world. I'm so glad you're putting this out for everyone to hear, and that you're working with people to find this, because my thing in life is I love the way you said that, is that it's your birthright. You're worthy. You don't have to prove anything. It's not because of anything you did. It's your birthright.
Exactly. And I love that. It's like, you don't owe anybody anything. You don't have to do X, Y, and Z so you can be happy. That's the difference. There isn't something you have to do to reclaim your happiness. It's your birthright. You get that. When you bought the ticket to come on this planet and be human,
Yeah.
you got that ticket. And all you have to do is recognize that that's your birthright. And recognize that you're enough, that you are whole and complete just as you are. And it doesn't mean that, we don't choose to go on this adventure to, there's an evolution or an evolving of the human body, that we're coming into more love, or we're releasing pain, or, and I do that with people with breath work and stuff. But I also point to this knowing that at your most essential self, there is nothing to fix. And that's, knowing that is such a gift, because I don't want anybody to postpone reclaiming their joy until, a year from now or 2 years from now, when you've finally done the work. You don't need to do, the gift is that you can reclaim it right now. And through the pointers, through what the path that taught me this was a Tibetan Buddhist path. And that was the fundamental knowing, is that there's nothing to fix at that most essential self. It's such a
greatest. That's
such a relief, right?
The mentor that I finally, worked with, because I was very picky. I heard him saying to his clients on a podcast, you don't need fixing. You're not broken. That's not what I'm hearing. You're looking to up level for growth. There's nothing. And I thought, I'm in.
Right, exactly. You can up level for growth. And that's the sort of adventure part. That's the what do I want to co-create with the universe? What do I want to grow into? Just like a flower, you get to grow and blossom into new adventures. But you're still a flower. You're always a flower.
Holly, we gotta go, woman, but thank you so much for coming on. I promise everyone we are going to post this everywhere. It was just a little peek. We'll have to have you back for one of the longer versions and record you. But before we go, how can they find you?
So they can find me at heartmindalchemy.com. Which is my website. And I've got, I offer free 30-minute consultations if you just want to come talk to me and see if some of the things I do, resonate with you. You can book that online. And I also have an insight timer channel, which you can link to through my website. So if you want to try out some of my meditations, Insight Timer is a wonderful free app.
Good.
Yeah, so people can download that and try some of my meditations. And I offer courses from time to time. I don't have one going right now, but I will soon. And you can find out all about that at Heart Mind Alchemy.
Yay! All right.
Okay.
Hey, I got something to say, people. Definitely, you want to spread this, share it, like it. We would be most grateful. And you know what I'm going to say? Until next time. Toodles. Bye, Holly.
Thank you.